created a really bad situation. And for me to say my first marriage broke up, what was the biggest reason? It wasn't the only reason, but the drinking was part of it. And then I established that new relationship with my current wife. And it was a good relationship, but the drinking went on. And we got married on January the 1st of 1982. And by February the 1st of 1982, or March the 1st of 1982, March the 4th of 1982, I'm sorry, Libby had said, look, either you stop drinking or I leave. And it was like a thunderbolt. 2 months, and that's the best I could do. And that was the point, Nathan, that I quit.
Okay. Was she, what was her relationship to alcohol? Was she just a social drinker, non-drinker?
A social drinker. There was times, I think, to keep me happy where she joined me.
Yeah.
In having, she would have one drink before supper. I would have 3 or 4.
Okay.
And I mean, and then she realized that perhaps she was, by drinking herself with me, encouraging that. And it reached the point where she said, I can't do this anymore. You've got to quit and you've got to refocus or I'm out of here.
Okay. And what was you're still showing up to work?
Oh yeah.
It seems like you've got that managed. What was her concerns at that time? Just that your health, or was your behavior off, or what?
When I finished, had my last drink, my behavior was still cold. It was still full of ugliness, and belligerent at times. And that stayed there, Nathan. And it was, we've talked about it in the past. It was almost like being a dry drunk. My behavior didn't change until the birth of my daughter. And then it changed.
Is that right?
And then Corey came along and it continued to change. And those hard edges fell away.
Okay.
The reliance on alcohol was gone, I'd hoped, but the behavior had to have another series of events to bring about a change at that time. And at that time, I hadn't gone to counseling or any other program. So it was just Ron, I guess you could say.
You weren't doing, you didn't do 12 steps.
No,
Pat.
no, I didn't. No.
Can you speak to why you didn't?
I think a couple of reasons. One, I believed at that time, after I'd stopped, and the only way I can explain it, after I stopped drinking, I was absolutely shocked when I reached about the 5th day, because I tried to stop before, and I've one day. And then by the 2nd day, I'd say, well, look, I proved that I could stop drinking, so I'm just going to get another. But I couldn't. So here's 2 weeks, here's a month. And as a result of that, I felt much stronger, much more able to manage that, not manage the behavioral issues that were there, but manage the drinking. So my view was, I don't need, probably very naive, I don't need that. In answer to your question, Corey, I can do it on my own. And the other thing, I had known a number of people that I'd worked with who's either a relative of theirs or themselves had belonged to AA, and nothing but positives. They just loved the experience, but it didn't turn me on. And I'd looked and studied it a bit to find out what I would be getting into. And I just know I'm going to do it on my own. Now, if you'd come along to say, we've got the Acme treatment center down the road, that's a beautiful thing, and you can go for nothing, the answer would have been no, I'm going to do it myself.
Okay. Well, I mean, people do that. It's not, using a peer support group is not necessary to change your behavior, especially if it's something you really want to do.
Yes. Yes.
And having proved to yourself that you were able to get away from that behavior pattern, and saying that you were left with, I'm assuming here that the alcohol kind of brought out you mentioned as a hardness to your personality, or a sharpness that was maybe worse when you were drinking and then persisted even when you stopped.
Yes.
Was that something that you think it had always been with you, or was that maybe something that you developed as a secondary to maybe being a part of the prison system, or where do you think that came from?
I think it was tied into the inner Ron, the kid younger that didn't have the confidence to move forward. And I think the fact that I was able to quit, Nathan, on my own, created that ability, at least to fool myself that I could do it on my own at that time. It was, and the behavior itself, the coldness, the belligerence, I think was a function of the amount I was drinking. It was, because part of it was, yeah, get off my back, I'm not hurting anybody, kind of a thing. And then when I did stop, that stayed there because I could find other things.
Yeah.
That, oh, it's not because I'm drinking, it's because I'm doing something else. So I think there was probably whoever was living with me, and I'm talking about my family, my wife, had to deal with a lot of things, I think, that I didn't really focus on and didn't want to be aware of in my behavior, in my attitude.